everybody, Paws up, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing what's called, the recipe I call apple cinnamon Pup'cakes, but I call it Will's favorite, sorry. All right, let's get started and show you the ingredients. All right, so the ingredients that we'll be needing for Will's favorite Pup'cake recipe is you need a cup of ground up oatmeal as your flour, 2 large eggs, one of the eggs broke on me, a third of a cup of sugar-free applesauce, and this is just homemade applesauce, a tablespoon of cinnamon, a third of a cup of peanut butter unsweetened, this is just a natural peanut butter, and a cup of grated apples. Make sure you have it cored and peeled, otherwise it's not gonna grate well for you or shred. And I found that doing it on the bigger holes, if you have both sides as an option on your grater, is the better option. Otherwise it just kind of becomes like an applesauce with the small one, so you just want little chunks of it in there. And then also 1/4 cup of the coconut oil, and I just gone ahead and melted that down already. So, but for decorating, thinking a little ahead, this time around I'm going to be using just the cupcakes, but you can also do it in like a regular cake pan. Line it with parchment or wax paper and then just give it a quick little spray. Once they're fully cooked and you take them out and you've given them a chance to cool, a lot of people like to decorate them. You can totally give them to them just completely plain, but some people want to decorate them and do it like as their birthday gift, you know, for the puppies and all that stuff. My babies always celebrate their birthdays, so we make it a little extra special. So you can simply use some extra peanut butter as icing on top, and you can go ahead and decorate that with just some of the oatmeal that's not ground up yet, or you can do some sprinkles. You don't want to use too much of this because, again, there's sugar in there that they don't really need, and the colors, well, you're never too sure what's in those colors, so use your own judgment what you prefer to do. So also you can use, some people call these white chocolate chips. Just as a complete disclaimer, they're not chocolate. So everyone that knows, oh, I'm not supposed to give my dog chocolate, but here's Angela saying, yeah, give your dogs white chocolate. There's no chocolate. These are not chocolate. It's just, it was a phrase that was coined to allow the marketing companies to really market this product to you. These have no cocoa in them at all. Again, they do have sugar in them and corn syrup and all that fun stuff, but so you want to use this sparingly. I occasionally will melt it down, and I will just do a little drizzle on either sometimes the dog bone treats. You'll see that in a recipe in the future, but for today, we'll probably melt this down and just do a little drizzle on the top. It's really more for visual aesthetics for us. The doggies couldn't care, but they'll love the extra little yummy flavor that's added with it. So you want to start with your dries first. So I just put my oatmeal in there, and again, I already had ground that, so it's a cup of ground oatmeal and a tablespoon of cinnamon, and I'll just kind of whip that around together. Make sure it's well incorporated. Kind of the key with this recipe is just making sure that everything is well incorporated kind of with your steps. It works better if you kind of whisk up or beat up your eggs first, and you can incorporate that in there. The oil. This is, again, was just coconut oil that I've already melted up. Applesauce. This cake won't do a lot of rising. I do have other recipes that call for baking soda and baking powder and stuff, but I try not to use that, you know, all those extra ingredients if necessary. And this is one of the ones that really is not necessary. It's just kind of a dense, like a brownie, more so than a cake consistency. 1/3 of a cup of peanut butter. So once that's all, you can tell it's all pretty much well incorporated. I will go ahead and get that out of my whisk because now I will not be able to fold my shredded apples in that. I will just pop them in there. If you don't have a shredder or a grater, by all means you can dice your apples absolutely imperative that you make sure, whether you're shredding or you are dicing, make sure you core that apple. Apple seeds, if you did not know, do contain arsenic, and you certainly don't want to add that into your baby's diet. You'll have some issues. So make sure you core your apples. And again, if you're shredding, you're going to want to peel them, but if you are dicing them, you do not necessarily have to remove the peel. The peel is fine for them to eat. It's the seeds that they cannot eat. All right, so it looks like the apples are pretty well incorporated and blended in. That's pretty much what your batter is going to look like. Almost like a brownie batter, a little thicker than a regular cake batter. It will kind of fall in on itself like that. Just for an extra. After you bake these, the papers will come off, and you definitely don't want to feed your dog the papers because there's colors, and again, it's more visually aesthetic for us. But I just lightly put some non-sticking spray on there. Just helps it release a little bit easier, and probably going to be easier if I just do it with a spatula. It's kind of thick. We'll just get our fingers dirty. We'll go ahead and fill up about 1 dozen muffin cups, and it'll do 1 cake. So if you want to do like a multiple layer cake, you could split the cake, double your recipe if you wanted extra thick layers, or if you wanted to do more than just a dozen of the cupcakes, you could double the recipe that we have on our link. And we'll go ahead and get these in the oven. The oven is preheated to 350. You're going to want to let them cook for between 15 and 20 minutes, and that's really just depends on how full you made yours. Like if you only wanted to do 6 instead of spreading the batter out to do a full dozen, you want to make nice big beautiful ones, or if you have like those Texas muffin pans with those really big muffins, and you could only do 6 of them, you're probably going to want to go a little closer to that 20 minutes to make sure they're fully cooked. But again, you know, you're going to treat these just like you would any other baked item, and you will test for doneness simply by inserting a toothpick into the center of some of these, and you always want to test like 2 or 3 of them, just to make sure, because sometimes an end can be, you know, one hot spot in your oven or something. So give it a check on a couple of them, but when that toothpick comes out clean, then you'll know that they're done all the way through. If it comes out and there's still lots of batter and stuff on there, let it go a little bit longer. Everybody's ovens kind of run at different temperatures, even though you have it set at your dial might say 350, but your oven could be running a little cool or a little hot. So you always want to check for doneness, and don't just always assume the time. We'll put them in the oven, and then we'll let you see them when they're all done. All right, well, obviously they've all come out of the oven and they're nice and cool, and we were able to decorate them. So we just did some with the peanut butter, and you know, we spread out the peanut butter on there and a little bit, and sprinkled on some of the uncooked oatmeal, which is totally fine for them to eat. And then this one, we just drizzled the white candy coating on there after we melted it. Very easily with that also, you would just melt it, and then you can pour the melted into a Ziploc bag and just cut your little tip corner off. And just do a little tiny bit, because otherwise it'll all come out real too fast. But if you just cut the very tip off, it'll give you a nice little piping bag, and you can just drizzle it on there pretty nice. And then this one, I did just a little dot of the chocolate and a little bit of sprinkles on top. So again, these options are just kind of more visually aesthetic for us, but I'm sure they enjoy the extra flavoring as well. And we'll just let Beryl go ahead and try one. Will you shake for Mom? Thank you. Will you give me the other one? Thank you. Oh no, you have to sit. You wait. 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 Okay. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you for tuning in for another episode, and we sure appreciate that. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, and you'll be notified when our next videos will be released, and we look forward to seeing you then. Take care.